So here you see the phases of a lesson. In San Diego Unified, we've used the problem-solving format of launch, explore, summarize. In the units, we will look at it in a little bit in our presentation here. The lessons are written in this format. So why routines? Routines invite all students to engage in the mathematics, bring personal experiences, share mathematical knowledge, have a valuable voice, communicate developing ideas, ask questions, and justify their response. So let's do a little math together. Oh. So in this picture, which one doesn't belong? So think for a moment. And there's many answers here. Which one doesn't belong? And this is a mathematical thinking routine that you can do with your whole class, and you'll be amazed at all the different replies that you'll have. So one particular response could be, the Lego block doesn't belong because it is not something to eat. The banana doesn't belong because it is yellow and everything else is red. So those are just a couple ideas. You can also help your UTKers with a sentence frame. The blank doesn't belong because blank. So these are just a sample of ideas of a thinking routine that you can do with your students that are listed in this new website format. Here's a look at math language routines. So all our learners are developing language and math content expertise in our classrooms simultaneously. Routines help to scaffold and structure the discourse, and writing allows students to share, process, and revise their mathematical thinking, and also further develop their language. So you can see in the chart here, think about your own experience of engaging in that math language routine that we just did about which one does not belong. This slide illustrates one way to think about how language skills align with our instructional practices. When you have discussions in mathematics, you are complementing both the language and the content. Using language as part of developing mathematical understanding, all learners are developing language and math content expertise, and our lessons optimize opportunities to develop language through mathematical content. So what are the benefits of routines? The which one doesn't belong routine that we just did with the Legos and the fruit, it's a good example how mathematical routines are instructional routines that are designed for interaction that invite all students to engage in the mathematics of each lesson. So the which one didn't belong specifically benefits our multilingual learners with practice justifying their opinions. It focuses on student ideas. It communicates mathematical ideas using academic and descriptive language. They're able to take risks as the question is open-ended with no wrong answers. It facilitates rich and inclusive discussions. They see the mathematics in creative contexts, and it formatively assesses the ways students are currently using language to communicate their mathematical ideas. So in the first 2 weeks, you may like to try out a number talk or a mathematical routine such as choral counting, another type of which one doesn't belong, dot cards, how many, same and different, what comes next, 5 and 10 frames, count and dump, notice and wonder. Those are all some great mathematical routines that you could try. All right, let's take a look at the next slide. Aha! So here is a snapshot of the Universal Transitional Kindergarten webpage down here at the bottom. This is going to be a great resource for you to use this year. It has a year at a glance. It has units with 85 lessons for the year. It's planned out so you can do one lesson over 2 days. The lessons in Launch, Explore, Summarize, Practice, Reflect, and Apply format. There are Google Slides to accompany each unit and also in Spanish. Yay! And then there's some just-in-time supports, sample weekly schedules that you could use, mathematical routine ideas, checkpoints for each unit to see how your students are doing and coming along. That's great for progress monitoring, and math manipulatives. So let's take a look. So for years, we have had a new lesson every day where we try to do everything and we just keep moving forward regardless of student learning. So with one lesson every 2 days, 85 lessons total for the year, we have the opportunity to differentiate for students and time for small group instruction, and also time for students to apply learning from the lesson. So we're excited about that. Okay, so here is a year at a glance. And you'll notice that you'll find this on the web page. And this year at a glance, all of these areas have samples. This is the sample schedule up here. And then they're divided into units A, B, C, D, and E. It also gives you a nice scope and sequence of the dates when you could do these lessons. There's also an inspiring and inclusive mathematical community, lessons to use at the beginning of the year to start building your community, especially your math community. And then you'll see the standards for mathematical practice. And here are the actual lessons. And there's Google Slides to accompany them. The checkpoints are here. The just-in-time supports are here. And then you'll have some ideas for math centers, collaborative work with the students, and then mathematical routines, number talks, and mathematical types of great collaborative learning experiences with different manipulatives you can use and different things. So those are great. And then we have units here. And when you get to this main page, the year at a glance, what you can do is click here on Unit A, and it'll open up. And you have the Universal Transitional Kindergarten, Unit A, Classifying and Patterns. And it gives you vocabulary, it gives you sentence frames, it has a suggested order of lessons with the objectives tied to them. There's a checkpoint, so you can try that to see where your students are at the beginning of the year, recording your observations as they're working on activities or in centers. And then also here are some sample centers that might be useful for that first Unit A. Here are the directions for the learning target. I can determine which object doesn't belong by using attributes. And there's a video to go with it. It gives teacher directions. This is the one that we did together. And then a practice, reflect, and apply for day 2. And there are many, many more things to explore and discover with this unit. This is lesson 4, finding big and small, identifying an object by describing its size, and lesson 5, and so on. So that'll be fun to kind of explore that section. Here's the sample weekly schedule, which may be really helpful to you as you start to map out your math curriculum time. And then there's a digital toolbox, which may not be super helpful to your students, but it has a great sampling of tools that while you're teaching and showing on your Promethean board or projecting for the students, these are all great tools that you can use in your lessons. So click on the virtual math tools to explore those. And then your number talks and routines are here. So this is for August through October here, this section that you can use these, same and different, choral counting, video, which one doesn't belong, and really dig in and see what those are like and how you can use those. And then there's additional UTK resources at the bottom so that you can further investigate those down there. So we're so excited to have all these great resources. Now you and your co-teacher will share the lessons responsibly. So in thinking about the plethora of responsibilities that you have as a UTK teacher, the more co-teachers can determine in advance how to divide and conquer, the better it will be. Strong teams will consider all tasks and actions and then determine how they might divide them so that both members are working towards their strengths. These might include reading aloud math stories, taking turns to do that, validating student responses, flexible groups with teacher stations, addressing behaviors, questioning techniques to accompany the lesson, circulating the classroom, being the model for students, taking turns presenting the lesson with manipulatives, checking for understanding, and then recording observations and assessment data.